Ever wondered why the periodic table looks the way it does, with all its blocks, rows, and columns? Well, think of it as a grand map, charting the basic building blocks of the universe, the elements. This map is laid out quite logically. The horizontal rows are called periods, and the vertical columns are known as groups. Now here's the interesting part. The position of an element on this table is determined by its atomic number. That's the number of protons in an atom's nucleus. The elements are lined up in increasing order of their atomic numbers. And it's not just a grid of numbers and symbols. The table also segregates elements into metals, nonmetals, and metalloids based on their properties. Metals, for instance, are on the left, and nonmetals on the right. So, the periodic table isn't just a random assortment of elements, it's a meticulously organized chart that tells a story about the properties and relationships of these building blocks. Now that we understand the basic layout, have you noticed the different blocks in the periodic table? Let's take a closer look, shall we? Imagine the periodic table as a city, and each block represents a different neighborhood, each with its unique characteristics and inhabitants. The S block, P block, D block, and F block are these neighborhoods, each named after the type of atomic orbital they represent. Understanding these blocks is like having a GPS to navigate the city of elements. So, let's start our tour with the S block. This is the leftmost block and consists of two groups. It's like the residential area of our city, housing the most reactive metals and the most reactive nonmetals. The elements here have one or two electrons in their outermost s orbital, making them eager to interact and form compounds. Next, we head to the P block. This is the rightmost block, home to a diverse crowd, from nonmetals and metalloids to post-transition metals. Just as a city's downtown area bustles with activity, the elements in the P block show a wide range of properties, thanks to their 3 to 8 electrons in the outermost p orbital. Then, we arrive at the D block, or the transition metals. This is the city's industrial area, with elements known for their high melting points, high densities, and metallic character. These elements have 1 to 10 electrons in their d orbital, making them the heavyweights of the periodic table. Finally, we reach the F block, the lanthanides and actinides. This block is akin to the city's outskirts, home to rare earth elements and radioactive actinides. These elements have electrons in their f orbital, contributing to their unique and often complex properties. Each block or neighborhood in our periodic table city has a unique story to tell. A story of atomic orbitals and electron configurations. These stories give us insight into the behavior of the elements, their properties, and their interactions. So remember, each block represents a specific type of atomic orbital, giving us insight into the behavior of the elements within. How about a fun way to remember these elements? Ever heard the periodic table song? Ah, the sweet symphony of science, a melodious tour of the elements. This catchy tune is not just a song, it's an innovative memory tool, a mnemonic that makes learning the periodic table as simple as humming your favorite tune. The song's structure is quite ingenious. It follows the order of the elements on the table, starting with hydrogen, then helium, and so on, all the way to oganesson. Every verse introduces a new element, its atomic number, and a little bit about its properties. Singing along, you'll find yourself effortlessly remembering these details. So, next time you're grappling with the periodic table, just hit the play button. Let the rhythm carry you through the atomic world, making each element stick in your mind like a catchy chorus. So, with a catchy tune, learning the periodic table can be more fun and less daunting. Alright, it's time to wrap up our journey through the periodic table. We've traveled through the rows and columns known as periods and groups, each with their unique characteristics and trends. We've explored the different blocks that divide the table into sections, each housing elements with similar properties. From the lightweight hydrogen in the top left, to the heavyweights like uranium and plutonium at the bottom, we've seen how the elements are the building blocks of the universe. We also played the periodic table song, a catchy tune that helps us remember all 118 elements. A fun and effective tool to learn and revise the elements. It's like having the entire periodic table in your pocket. And that concludes our journey. The periodic table is not just a chart, it's a story of the elements. And with these tips, you're well on your way to becoming a master storyteller.